Hi guys, and welcome to one of the best weeks that we've had in the last couple of months. This is your horoscope for Monday, the 22nd of June, going through until Sunday, the 29th of June 2020. Thank you so much for joining me. It's really a pleasure to be with you today and to get to have a look at what is coming up in the coming week. I went over what the planets are doing in the sky, and the energy is so positive. I haven't seen anything like this, seriously, in quite a while. These horoscopes are for all signs of the zodiac. They're for everyone who watches. And what I do is I look at what the planets are doing up in the sky and how that affects all of us down here on planet Earth. So whether you're a Virgo or Sagittarius, sun sign, it really doesn't matter. These are the energies for everybody. If you're new to astrology, a useful thing to find out is what your sun sign is. That's what the horoscopes in the paper, in the magazines, on the train, that's what they're based on. Then have a look at your rising sign. The way I read that is as your natural default setting, and then your sun sign, not your sun sign, your moon sign, which is your soul. It's what really affects you most intimately. So sun first, that's identity, then the rising, default setting, and the moon, what's happening internally and how you're trying to get there or externalize it. So this is, like I said, for the coming week. I'm going to go through each day and see what the planets are doing and how that's going to influence all of us here on planet Earth. Starting with Monday, the 22nd of June, we have the moon in Cancer, and the moon is still in Cancer from the day before, where we had a new moon in Cancer, also a solar eclipse. It's happening right now as I'm doing this because I'm filming this video on Sunday, the 21st of June, and I can already feel the amazing new moon in Cancer eclipse energy. And the great thing about these eclipses is that the energies are interrupted and they last much longer. And a new moon in Cancer is all about, I love myself, I approve of myself, I give myself the freedom to be me. All of these positive affirmations that you can use, all of the things that have been suffocating me as such, I'm able to breathe because I give myself the freedom to do the things that make me happy. So that's something that's already in the air, and it's really important. If you haven't watched the video on the new moon in Cancer / solar eclipse, same thing, have a look at that, because we're entering a new era of self-care. And self-care sounds but it's not. It's the most important thing that we can choose to do in life. If you love yourself, care for yourself, and approve of yourself, you look in the mirror and you say, hello, I love you. Thank you for taking such good care of me despite me. Thank you for bringing good things into my life and showing me how to progress. It's so important to have that caring, loving attitude towards yourself as the priority in your life before anything else happens, because it's from that love, that connection with yourself, that everything good in your life stems from that. The only other things that are good in your life stem from the divine, from grace. We manifest the things that are in our lives, and at certain times we are just blessed with these amazing things we could have never imagined. So on Monday, we're still in this mode of, okay, I'm now in the next 6 months of my life, or I'm now in a new period of my life, Monday the 22nd of June, where I care about myself, and I refuse to think negative thoughts. I refuse to think things that hurt me. Wow, just saying that is really powerful. It's so important that you now engage with things moving forward that you enjoy and you love. No one knows what's happening with God, with science, with illnesses. No one has all the answers. Anyone who tells you, and there are a lot of people who will tell you that their way is right and that they are the one with all the know, as soon as someone comes at you like that, you have proof that they have no idea what they're doing, because the more they force something, the more you can see that they're protesting too much and that there's something amiss. So the greatest gift of this eclipse is that all of us feel, do you know what? I have a right to my opinion and feelings. Finally. My voice closes as I say things like that, because we've seen during the last couple of weeks and months how everything, for want of a better, it's a bit on the nose, but things have been stifling, suffocating. And now that people are coming out of that, especially the people who've been pressured and stifled in society the most, have felt it. So we've seen all the protests. People who feel isolated anyway have felt much more isolated. It's really come to a head, and people who are already struggling to breathe now had this amazing opportunity. And I will get to the rest of the week, I promise. It's just there's a lot going into this week, that good stuff that you need to be aware of to contextualize it. So using this to get a greater understanding of yourself and saying, I have the right to my own feelings and my own views, and I'm not going to just apologize and try and fit in with everyone else. And the people who were so intimidating who came into my life before, now they're coming into my life bullying me and pushing me and arguing and being really dismissive and disrespectful, and I don't need to tolerate that anymore because I love myself now. Isn't that liberating? It ought to be. For me, it's so liberating. I don't need to take I don't need to bother. If you're going to be negative to me like that, in the past, for instance, as an example myself, if someone didn't like me, I would have tried harder to get them to like me, especially when they demonstrated it rudely. Crazy. The normal reaction would be like, they don't like me, move on. My reaction was, oh, I've got to work to like them. Not anymore. I care about myself. That isn't going to be a situation that's going to bring me joy. It's only going to hurt me, so I don't engage. And if you don't like me, bye. See ya. See ya. It's the best option. It's the best attitude you can take to people who don't like you. I've said this a lot, but for me, it's something that keeps cropping up. Maybe for you, it's something that's cropped up. You're free of that now. So Monday, the 22nd, this Cancer moon, it conjuncts, so it sits right on top of Mercury, the communication planet, also in Cancer. So the way you think and feel, they're completely aligned. And what you do think and feel is valid and good. You are your father, okay? You are the boss in your life. You say what goes. This is the best week for people like me, for anyone who struggles to assert themselves or to struggle to say that their worldview is right. Because especially the people who've been pressured and, marginalized in society, no one has ever told people that, yeah, that opinion is right, because everything certain people do in our culture, society, is wrong, and you can't win. So if you're just wrong from the time you're 2 years old, then you don't feel empowered to have your own opinion. And that changes here, because we all have the right to see the world and manifest the world the way we want it. So the communication planet Mercury and the moon, they sit with the water planet Neptune. That's in Pisces, so lots of watery, dreamy, intuitive, spiritual energy floating around. And the moon opposes, so it's 180 degrees away from Pluto and Jupiter, both outer planets, both in the worker sign of Capricorn. Pluto is about transformation and rebirth and change, and Jupiter is Zeus in mythology, and it's good luck and the king of the gods. It's lightning strikes, positivity. In the sign of Capricorn, it's about putting an effort in. So on Monday the 22nd, luckily for all of us, the energy of the eclipse from the day before is super, super, super powerful and really influences all of us. It's the kind of, because an energy like an eclipse, it doesn't just appear, it builds, it waxes, it wanes, and it's something that happens over time. So the 21st is about, boom, the eclipse happens and it's like, oh, I feel certain of myself. Well, I've never felt certain of myself before. Amazing. And then on Monday, you're still riding that wave, and you really are able to gain a much greater understanding of yourself, how to nurture that self moving forward, and thereby transforming your life. It sounds very grand. You can transform your life by realizing on Monday the 22nd, that eating processed food does not make your body happy. You've been brought up with that food. You've said, this is the way my family eats, I'm going to eat that way. You now say, hey, actually, no one seems to be affected by this food. I do. So I'm going to change the way I eat. It's something that you love doing, or that's loving for yourself, because your body, you feed it better food. Excuse me. You feel better as a result. You move forward with your life and you transform it. You may have more energy, you may gain weight, lose weight, whatever. It's not as grand as it sounds. And that's why I say self-love is the most important, because that's what everything starts with. I can have a better life. Hallelujah. Epiphany. You know, a lot of families and a lot of people out there, no one ever tells them you can have any life that you want. You can own a fish farm if you want. No one's stopping you from your fish farm dreams. You can have anything you want. It's about making it happen and realizing that you don't owe anything to yourself except loving yourself. And when you love yourself and you stop criticizing yourself, that's when actual change begins. So amazing. If you haven't watched the eclipse video yet, if you're just kind of doing chores or errands on Sunday and you happen on this video, or it's Monday and you're watching this, this is one of the best times of the year for personal transformation and love. Use Sunday, Monday, or if you see this on Wednesday, take 5 moments and just say, okay, what is something loving that I can do for myself? Okay, Tuesday the 23rd, the moon goes into Leo at 12:34 in the afternoon, so just after lunch, UK time. These horoscopes are based on UK time. If you're in the States, you're behind either 5 hours on the East Coast, 6 hours Central Time, 8 hours West Coast. It is 8 hours, isn't it? Yeah. UK, Europe is plus 1 hour, and then if you're in Dubai or in India or in Philippines or Australia, it's plus 10. I think it's between 8 and 12 hours, Australia, depending on the time of the year. Anyway, don't get too hung up, like I always say, on the timings, not that important. The shift with the moon going into Leo, though, is the atmosphere really changes from family, nurturing, care, love, to, yay, I've got the power, how do we do something fun, how do we get out there and do something enjoyable? So it's a different vibe. It's happy, 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 but on a different level. And on Tuesday, good news, everybody, Neptune goes retrograde. Neptune is the water planet. It's Poseidon, the god of the oceans. It's everything that's beneath the surface. It's our subconscious mind. It's what we haven't manifested yet, what we're dreaming about. But also, it's water, it's something you can't hang on to. It's something that can cause insecurity. Like in the tarot, for instance, we've got the moon card, which depicts a path in the dark, and there's a body of water, and this lobster crawls out of the water in the middle of the night. I mean, for me, that's like a scene out of Lovecraft. It's like horror, Cthulhu kind of stuff. But it's that anyone who's swum in a lake and you swum out, and you were able to see the ocean, but now you can't and it's all dark. That terror. Oh my God. Or when you're swimming in the ocean at night and you can't see anything, and then suddenly something touches your leg, it's like seaweed, and you think, it's crazy. So it's that sense of the unknown, you know? The unknown, you know? The sense of the mysterious and the indefinable, the mysterious. With any planet going retrograde, it appears to go backwards, and it's a time when we're able to review the energy of that planet. And Neptune direct, oh, I'm so happy it's going retrograde, seriously, because this week everything's going right. Neptune's going retrograde and Venus is going direct later on in the week. The planet, personal planet of love, Venus, and the global planet of love, Neptune. Amazing. Because now the global planet of love, Neptune, goes retrograde. As far as I'm concerned, the fear factor decreases and really gets switched off or turned down. So the anxiety, insomnia, cold sweats, panic attacks, all of that crackling, frizzly energy that a lot of you have been feeling, I've certainly been feeling it, that starts to settle. Hooray! That is such good news. Tuesday the 23rd is really amazing, because this fear that has been floating around, and that's been mysterious, and that's just popped up in other people or where you least expected it, that's now going to become a little more rational and reasonable. The thing is, you know, whenever anything happens, we get things on the news warning us. Like, for instance, when we had the bombs with the liquids on the planes, afterwards we all had to start checking our liquids, and we couldn't take anything more than 50 milliliters, which before we always did. And it's a little bit silly, I think, because yes, of course, take precautions against the liquids, but the people who are going to plan an attack certainly aren't going to use something that's already been laid bare and disclosed as a secret trick. They're going to come up with something else. So rather than focusing on that one thing and creating panic, which same thing with the corona thing that we've had. Of course, you've got to inform people and focus on it. But people have been saying things like, oh yeah, it's corona season. All the other diseases and viruses have been moved to the side. They don't apply to me anymore. It's just because the media highlights one thing doesn't mean that it's more important or the truth at all. And the overreaction by the media has caused this mass spread fear, panic. Of course, we have to pay attention. The only way to get people to pay attention is to inform them, hopefully. But it's taken on a life of its own, and it's become something that is a fear body by itself. Like the spirit of the pandemic. Summer 2020 vibes. It's got a life of its own. We all know what we're talking about when we read about a wedding that was now held during the pandemic. It's like, we all know that this is an extraordinary time, but the fear has taken on a life of its own that is no longer useful. So, because we've hit rock bottom with a lot of these things socially, because the coronavirus and the things that have put pressure on us in life, racial inequality, people being dismissed as useless and not part of society, all of that is not just starting to grate. The things that have grated in the past have now come to a head and things have broken open. So the people who have been most under strain have now kind of cracked, whether it's with anger or with just too much, we can't take this anymore, we have to change something. That kind of break, that starts a new discussion, that starts a new dialogue, that starts something new going. So because that's broken open, there are huge opportunities and new beginnings for you personally on Tuesday the 23rd. What is it that you can do? And this day reminds me really of something I read recently. Louise Hay, the founder of Hay House Publishing, and she wrote You Can Heal Your Life in the 80s. She started doing support groups with gay men in West Hollywood in the 1980s, and she developed this You Can Heal Your Life language philosophy, and she worked with these men and she wrote a book about it. And because it was a pandemic, interestingly enough, 1981, 29 years ago, no, not 29, almost 40 years ago. And in astrology, we have something called the Great Conjunction when Saturn and Jupiter meet. We've got that this year. If you want to know where that happens in your chart, what house, then get in touch with me for a personal reading. The Great Conjunction happens once every 20 years and it causes these big breaks. So with Louise Hay in the 80s, she worked with these people no one else wanted to work with because everyone was scared scared witless. No one knew how things were transmitted. And she was picked up by Donahue and Oprah. And because of the publicity, her book sold 30 million copies. She used that as an opportunity, but not in a sense of, oh, how do I get famous? She's like, okay, people are actually suffering here. I can make a difference with my Heal Your Life course that I've got, Louise Hay. And because she gave of herself, something huge happened as a result. Now, most people are thinking, oh, this virus, lockdown, 3 months, nightmare. A lot of people have used this as a foundation to start their new business, to start their new physical weight loss journey, to start new things. And what I'm saying is, if you haven't felt that yet, and if you've felt like someone who's been oppressed, like someone's been squeezing the life out of you, this is now your time to hit rock bottom in your mind, not in reality, and to say, this is not me anymore. These relationships, no. This work, no. This is broken. And, you know, when you break an egg, a new life comes out of it. Breaking things isn't always bad. It's what Pluto's all about, death and rebirth, or death so there can be rebirth. So Tuesday for you, if you don't feel like you've blossomed and you haven't learned your lesson of the last few months and what it means to you, and the seeds aren't germinating in your mind yet. Tuesday is the day for you to actually have that moment, to get things going, to get things moving, and to embrace the opportunities that are in your life now without fear of failure or being reprimanded or whatever is holding you back. On Wednesday, the 24th of June, the moon is still in Leo, so what's fun? What gives me a sense of passion? How can I go outside and play? What is it about life that I enjoy? How can I lead? How can I put myself in a position of being the expert and being in a position of power? How can I interact with other people in a way that I enjoy? It trines Chiron in Aries, the wounded healer in the fire sign of Aries. So it's really unlikely that you're going to express huge disappointment because you've been hurt emotionally. That's really unlikely. What's more likely to happen is that you bring this energy of joy and fun into the world, and that you attract more of it into your life. The Leo moon squares Uranus and Taurus, so anything can happen with the planet of chaos being in the earth sign of the bull, Taurus. And the moon also forms a quincunx, a harmonious relationship with the water planet Neptune in Pisces, which is now retrograde. So the fear has settled and the inner fire lights up, and you want to spread that into the world. And that's a very inarticulate way of putting it. You feel like a fire is lit inside of you, and that fire burns so brightly that it expands and expands and it expands and it grows. And you don't want to just keep it within your own system. You want to push it out into the world to inspire and delight other people. So there's a natural happiness that kind of just seeps out of you. And on Wednesday, any obligations that were planned previously during times of fear or anything where you were at a vulnerable point and someone talked you into something, you will, if those crop up today and they continue to fill you with fear, you know that those things need to leave and exit your life now. Because if something brings you anxiety and fear on Wednesday the 24th, you really know that it's out of place and it's a relic from a time that is now past. So make sure that you're aware of those things. You may feel some conflict, obviously, if something like that happens. Is it me? Am I just being wrong, or is this no longer in my life? And the answer is, if it comes to that kind of a feeling, either in your online relationships, real relationships, relationships with a business, personal, romantic relationships, that's normal for you to have some sort of conflict in one of those areas of your life. See it as an opportunity to let things go and to let people exit your life and to let them slide out of your life. If you're someone who continues to be with guys who aren't good with finance and that's just a pattern you have, and you see that and you're like, oh wow, the chaos in me financially, my inability to open credit card bills is now gone. I take care of myself, so I take care of myself financially, and because of that, I've lifted myself, and these guys, they don't even see me anymore now because I've resonated at a different frequency. So having conflict with someone like that who is no longer on your frequency is actually a good thing. So I know the conflict doesn't feel good, but if you find that you're like at conflict with someone who is just inappropriate, you're able to let things go on Wednesday the 24th, and you're able to let them go for good. It's really funny when I wrote here my example, let go of scripture. I don't mean that disrespectfully. I've read the Bible and I love parts of the Bible. And I've always tried, to find my spiritual path and to have that divine kind of light shine down. So I've tried everything. Nam-myoho, Renge-kyo, Jesus, whatever. And for me, I really like Christianity, but I was reading the New Testament and it really hurts my feelings. I'm sorry. That's just, it doesn't work for me. I don't like Paul. He is such a misogynist. I don't like being told what kind of man I should be. I just resent what I read. And that doesn't work for me spiritually. Because the reason I would read scripture or engage in something spiritual is to bring me joy and to bring me closer to myself and the divine. And I know Christians say the only way is through Jesus, and that's why I say no, the only way is not through Jesus, because for people like me, the New Testament is an insult. It just, like Paul, it's just all implied, like men who are kind to other men. Well, I don't think I've misread it. Guys who are a certain way are just not acceptable. And a certain number of years have passed, and I am who I am, and I'm not going to actively engage in something that brings me pain just because it's outdated or because it's not applicable or whatever. Some things just don't fit. Some things just don't fit. Like, I have family who are different religions, and I've tried things out, but they just haven't worked for me. So you can have an open mind and try things, but if they don't work, then they don't work. And you're a fool if you realize that this guy, he or this partner I have or this job I have is abusive to me. The boss just yells at me every Friday at 2 because he enjoys it, as an extreme example. Once you realize that, either changing the way you engage with that boss or finding other work, or at least saying this is a job that does not build me up, I get yelled at once a week. The foolish thing is to then stay in it without any plan. I understand that a job is done for usually the pay. So you can't just throw everything up in the air and walk out. You have to line something else up. But if you see that you're in a job that is dead and relationships that have no hope, and you're like, okay, these have no hope, but I'm going to continue, I mean, what do you expect? And that's kind of tough in itself, because what if I don't have the power to make changes? The good news is on Wednesday, you are given the power to let go of things that you've had your claws in the past, because you've been so attached. On Thursday, the 25th of June, we have Venus going direct, finally. This is the best news. That, seriously, this Venus retrograde has been one of the roughest. It's really made sense with what we've had going on in the world. It's really made sense with people staying away from each other and getting the wrong end of the stick. And now with Venus, the planet of love and beauty and creativity and romance going direct, it's safe and right to start new relationships, to start new businesses, to trust that something is as it appears. Neptune's in reverse, remember, and Venus is now direct. So what you think and feel about love is true, and you're not influenced by the global anxious collective so much. It's more about, what do I love? And again, it makes sense with, you've made some decisions in yourself and you've had to see the roughness of the world and society to say, okay, this no longer works for me, this pattern has to go. You're letting go of that, and you make space for something good to come in. The moon goes into Virgo at 6 minutes past 5, and Virgo is the nurse. Virgo is analytical. Virgo is about taking info, making sense of it. So Venus, the planet of love, direct, and Virgo, the school mistress, saying, he's not a good match for you, that's a bad boy, stay away. Those two are a really good match for you to look at your love life again on Thursday and to say, all right, let's make a fresh start here, okay? So finally, on Thursday the 25th, we have Venus, the planet of love, going direct. Really good news. Relationships, therefore, are back on track. Hooray! It's safe to love each other in all ways. Summer is truly here. Friday, the 26th of June, the moon is still in Virgo, and it now trines Uranus and Taurus. So making sense of things and making decisions based on evidence isn't as reliable as it usually is. The moon sextiles Mercury in Cancer. Again, trust your feelings more than just evidence. And it opposes Neptune in retrograde in Pisces, the water planet, causing fear and anxiety, now calming down a little bit. So Friday, the 26th, you may feel inexplicably drawn to something that seems odd or unusual, out of character for you, and it just brings you great joy. So maybe a Tamagotchi or knitting, or something that's just not associated with you, and something that's new in your life that you wouldn't think that you would find any kind of connection with. So make space and a little bit of time to explore things and to explore new things and to open yourself up to other people who come with these activities and these new things that you can be exposed to. That's how we get into a lot of things, through other people. But also be aware that if other people seem a little bit self-absorbed or a little bit odd or acting out of character in some way, be accepting and non-judgmental, because people like you are coming out of hibernation and they're rediscovering what they love and what they want to do. And people are finding themselves again in the sense of, what is it that I love? What is good for me? What brings me a sense of, hooray, I've got a light at the end of the tunnel, something to look forward to, something good, something positive. So that's excellent. Saturday the 27th, we've got the moon going into Libra at 18 minutes past 8 in the evening. And we have balance in the sense of the self in connection with other people. Libra is very good at setting the tone for a group of people and making sure that things are equal and things are done for the greater good. Mars moves into Aries, the sign that it rules, so Mars couldn't be any happier. Mars is the man. Mars is the bull. Mars is the me. And Aries is the sign of the ram, the thing that uses physical strength to bulldoze its way through obstacles. God, just mentioning that annoys me at the moment. That's something I need to let go of. Although I have let go of it, it was just something. I was at an event recently and there was someone I really looked forward to seeing. And it's been a little bit of time, but just the response from this guy was just like, I was looking forward to seeing it, and yeah, there was just no warmth, no interest, and it was just like, oh, okay. Disappointment. But again, you know, that's the kind of thing where it's not the other person's responsibility to give you a sense of approval. I mean, it's nice if someone's excited to see you, but you can't expect other people to be excited. So again, use things like that would usually make you grumble and say, oh, another disappointment, or another instance where someone was unpleasant or something. Use that as, okay, that's no longer anything to do with me, and every time something crops up like that, I can differentiate between their grumpiness and their inability to give anything, and I care about myself. And that's not a nice situation, so get away from that. Let's focus on what you care about. And I want you to hear this in the sense that I want you to feel like you're the most important person on the planet, because you are. I want you to completely block everyone else out and to say, this is you watching this right now, and you're the only person who matters, and the only opinion that matters in your life is yours. What you love is lovable because you love it. What's good is good because you say it's good. What's rubbish is rubbish because you say it's rubbish. What's loving and full of joy is full of joy because you say it is. And because you say it is makes it real. So when someone says to you, for instance, you don't like football, it just doesn't feature in your reality, and someone comes along and says, oh, you're an idiot for not watching that game, that was the best action ever. You don't need to be triggered by that. You can just say, football is a game for people who have nothing better to do and no imagination. And I'm glad I missed it. And you can get into a whole argument about football, but you can just say, you may have liked it, but I have watched and you don't need to explain it. You can just simply say, oh, there's an hour and a half of my life that I spent properly, not in front of the TV watching football. You don't have to feel attacked, or you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, and you don't have to educate someone. You don't have to tell someone what they like, because they like what they like. So, Mars goes into Aries, the moon is in Libra, they oppose each other, by the way. Aries, first sign of the zodiac, and then Libra, seventh sign of the zodiac, they're 180 degrees apart. Aries is the male, it's my path, and Libra is our path. So there's nice balance in the day. The Libra moon also trines Venus in Gemini, so Venus itself, the planet of love, is in an air sign, Gemini the doorway, and the Libra moon is ruled by Venus as such, because Venus rules Libra. So it's all very nicely integrated here, the way you feel, balanced, with a sense of opportunity, and I can think and speak and do what I like. So there's a sense of freedom. On Saturday the 27th, the best day for love and relationships. of all sorts that we've had in the last few months. Seriously. Saturday, 27th of June is the best day for love and romance that we've had for love and romance in the last few months. So seize this opportunity. Make sure you take the initiative to do things that bring you joy, because you'll do those things and you're manifesting joy for yourself, and that's where you're going to find the new person that you're looking for. Watch out for new business opportunities or new institutions you can fall in love with, because that can also really happen. One thing to be wary of is old partners that pop up today suggesting another shot at relationships. That is not a good idea. So you'll know that something is a good opportunity for love because it pops up and it's something new. Finally, on Sunday the 28th, we still have Mars in Aries. Excuse me. So your ambition is super, super focused. It exiles Saturn in Aquarius, and it's like, I want to make a difference. So you may become reflective on Sunday and think, how can I express my opinion that I'm entitled to? So you've gone from, how do I care about myself, Sunday the 21st. Now Sunday the 28th, I know I care about myself, I have certain opinions and I want to share them with the world. So you're going from student to teacher in the space of a week. So huge personal progress, huge potential for love. Saturn is the astrological head teacher. It's about security, and Aquarius is the water bearer. Letting go of negativity. It's like the star in the tarot. Hope and making yourself vulnerable for something bigger. So anyone who feels like they're not done yet, you're not fully cooked yet, the best is yet to come. This is your week to really get inspired again if the actual steps aren't there yet for you. The moon in Libra opposes Chiron in Aries. It forms a harmonious trine with Venus in Gemini. It squares the communication planet Mercury and the Sun, your identity, in Cancer. So Sunday the 28th of June is similar to Wednesday in the sense that your new self-approval and your kind of new sense of self-love and self-approval, that creates natural boundaries in your life. Because you won't tolerate certain things, like I mentioned with the example earlier, they just won't show up in your life anymore. Because you don't think that you're not good enough, you don't attract people who exploit that. Because you no longer believe it, they no longer have an angle, you see. So as you raise your vibration, you will notice that you outgrow certain people and places and situations. And again, if you notice that something has no future and something, the pattern emerges and you're like, this is the 5th time we've been through this argument, you may start to become aware of that and then notice that you're putting natural boundaries in place without even thinking about it. So if there are things that are full of conflict, or there are certain things in your life that just want to exit, that are presenting themselves to say, hello, here I am, I'm still in your life, I serve no purpose, I want to go. And it's your chance to actually let those things exit. Especially if you find that there's someone or something or a place in your life where the relationship has got really toxic. And you love that person or that place, but it's just not good for you and it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. And the other person or place, they love you back, but there's something in the relationship that's crossed the line from love and nurture into pain and abuse. And a lot of the most toxic relationships can go on and on and on because both people, they rely on each other's energy and they drain each other, and then it becomes this toxic spiral. So those kind of spirals, you're not going to be in the maelstrom of that, in the current. You'll suddenly find yourself, oh, okay, I'm in this spiral. Do I want to be here? I can be. Or do I want to let this exit my life? And it's as simple as saying, I am no longer hooked to this. There's nothing in this relationship for me to miss. Like if you are an alcoholic and you really do a step 1 and you realize that there's absolutely nothing in alcohol for you anymore, it doesn't rescue you, it doesn't solve your problems, it doesn't make life better, it just gives you a temporary break, and then a couple of hours later the break is over and you're back to reality. And when you realize that, then you don't sit there and say, oh, I wish I could have a drink, those were the good old days. What's that called? It's called Euphoric recall. That's, yeah, I'm surprised I recall that. Yeah, it's called euphoric recall, and you just remember the good stuff instead of the reality. And when you get rid of that and you're like, okay, so this sucks. I want to change how I feel. Let's go relapse. Well, alcohol isn't really going to do anything for me. It's then that you're like, okay, alcohol is not going to feature in my life anymore because I'm over it. And when you're over certain people, places, and things, they no longer feature in your life anymore because you're over them. If you still try and defend yourself, or you still want them to like you, which is a normal human response to someone, I guess, any of those personal kind of things that keep you hooked to something that's negative like that, it's gone from Sunday the 21st, Monday the 22nd of June because of that eclipse. Check out that video. And because of what happens this week, it's just like, bye-bye universal panic and chaos, and hello self-love. Yay. So good. I hope you have a lovely, lovely week. I am so genuinely excited for this week. I am going to get my life back. Hooray. Yes. It's really, no, I don't know what else to say in the sense of, you know, marginalized people. I don't want to go on and on and on. But some people, their lives haven't changed at all and they've learned nothing. And they're like, yeah, don't even ask me about this because life has been as usual. I'm a key worker and I do this, and fine. Your life hasn't changed. Great. I'm sorry I asked. If it has been difficult for you, you're one of the people who's meant to change their lives. It's been difficult for a reason. Difficult equals a piece of coal with lots of pressure on it becoming a diamond. If you have struggled, you know that you're in the right place and that something in you is changing and that the best is yet to come. Don't brush the discomfort or the pain away. Look at it and say, I'm not going to hurt myself like this anymore. Bye. And you throw it away and you make space for good things. I accept all good things in my life. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Just click on book your reading on the front page to order your reading with me. In my personal readings, I use astrology, tarot, numerology, and my intuition. To draw up the astrology chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then order a chart rectification. That's a process where I work out your time of birth. And once I have those three pieces of info, place of birth, date of birth, time of birth, I draw up a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born, and that's your natal chart. And that's going to be the same way for life. And once I have that wheel in front of me, your birth chart, your natal chart, I can look at your life purpose, what your vocational aptitudes are, money, love, what's destined for you in certain areas where you have a lot of choice and where you can really make great changes, where the best place is to live, when is a good time to move, career, is this the right job for me? What am I supposed to do? Hopes and dreams when it comes to family and children. Anything that's on your mind, just get in touch and I can have a look for you. And I also use the tarot, the progress chart, the transits, astrocartography to look at what's coming up in future, to answer specific questions, also to have a look at where and when. So if you have any questions or if you are interested, then do get in touch via gregoryscott.com. Click on the shop tab or the book your reading button. If you like this video, then please hit the like button, subscribe, and share the video online. I know all these things you have to do. It's like a whole list. So I always said, please subscribe if you like it. But yeah, press the like button, please. And do share the video with friends and family if you want other people to see it. That'd be awesome. Have an amazing week ahead. Really enjoy this, the solstice. The summer solstice on the 21st. Check out the video and do something really nice and caring for yourself. You deserve it. All the best, and I'll speak to you soon.